We bring you the lunch edition of MPC News. You're with me, Arthur Chokoto. Our top stories. Malawi Local Government Association, MAGA, commends President Mutharika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. Government pledges to sustain the Youth Innovation Fund program due to its proven impact on the youth. And investors challenged to capitalize on the Malawi Tourism Master Plan. The National Platform Chairperson, Benedicto Kondowe, says CSOs are optimistic that the CDF guidelines that President Professor Arthur Mutharika has directed ministries to develop will be in the interest of Malawians. The sentiments come following President Mutharika's decision to withhold assenting to a bill that sought to enact a law on the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Kondowe explains.
Because you will recall that the Constitutional Court was very, very clear on this matter, that members of parliament should not have a direct role in the management of CDF. So we are grateful to the president, but most importantly, we would want us as a nation to move forward together. The power to govern is derived from the people of Malawi. So Section 12 of our Constitution is very clear that all political and legal authorities derived from the people of Malawi and must be exercised in their best interest. And democracy is all about power to the people. And this is why you are saying the beneficiary of CDF are Malawians. And therefore, it will be wrong for government to leave out Malawians in the development of the guidelines, because they are the owners of local development. And if we bring them on board, that will trigger ownership. And once ownership has been secured, then we are guaranteed that the CDF will serve its intended purpose.
And commenting on the same is Executive Director for Nika Institute, Moses Mkandawire. He explains.
Let's not create antagonism between them and ourselves, because we need members of parliament. They also need us. They also need the people that put them in office. But above all, let's also look at the agenda of the president. I think let us understand that what His Excellency has done, if this can be properly implemented, I think will be one of the greatest legacies that is going to leave behind when his time comes for him to retire. Why? Why? Because the communities, wherever we're coming from, have not really benefited much from, dialect development. And we still feel that the 5 billion that the president has proposed, if it can go into these constituencies or communities, as it were, I think these resources can largely contribute to addressing a number of challenges that the communities are encountering.
Traditional Authority Timbiri of Nkhata Bay has appealed to duty bearers in the district to use part of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, to construct a boarding secondary school at Mpamba. Currently, Nkhata Bay Mpamba constituency does not have any boarding school, a development which forces some learners to cover distances of up to 20 kilometers to Mpamba CDSS to access secondary education. According to TA Timbiri, such long distances lead to school dropouts and poor performance. Temba Mali has compiled this report.
Section 25 of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi guarantees the right to education for all persons. But for learners living in areas such as Luambazi and Lichenga in Nkhata Bay, the enjoyment of such a right comes at a cost, as they have to endure long distances to access secondary school education at Mpamba CDSS. Luambazi is 22 kilometers away from the school, while Lichenga lies 10 kilometers away in the opposite direction. The situation, which mostly affects boys as a few girls are accommodated in the girls' hostels at the school, leads to poor performance, particularly among the boys. For example, out of 41 students who scored between 12 and 25 points at Mpamba CDSS last year, only 11 are boys while 30 are girls. According to T.A. Timbidi, the situation can be rectified if duty bearers build a boarding secondary school within Mpamba area. His call has been echoed by Councillor for Mwambazi Ward in the area, Lloyd Ngozi, who says there is need for urgent attention on the matter.
With girls, they are not safe to use distant places to walk time and again, but when we can construct hostels, they will be accommodated at school. At the same time, they will be safe to stay at school. That's why I'm saying I'm so glad with this government to raise up the CDF fund up to 5 billion.
And Member of Parliament from Nkhata Bay Mpamba constituency, Jacob Mtambalika, says a boarding secondary school for the area is already in the strategic plan for Nkhata Bay, which will be constructed using CDF.
So we'll be able to construct a boarding secondary school from the 5 billion. We already allocated the area from the zone. So the Chombe area is surrounded by 11 primary school, and there is no boarding school that side. I should mention that the whole constituency, there is no full boarding school. So from this 5 billion constituency development fund, we will construct a boarding school at Chombe.
Besides having students from distant places, Mpamba CDSS has 11 feeder primary schools, which makes it congested. Temba Mwale, MBC News, Nkhata Bay.
Government has pledged to sustain the Youth Innovation Fund YIF program, saying it is impacting much on the youth. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Patricia Wiskes made the remarks when she inspected the youth-led organizations that are benefiting from the fund in Balaka and Blantyre. Charles Pensolo reports.
Last year, government launched the Youth Innovation Fund YIF, designed to empower young people with the resources, technical support and platforms they need to transform bold ideas into viable solutions that contribute to national development. Minister of Youth Patricia Wiskes visited Youth for Green Economy and Springs of Hope in Balaka, as well as Micromake in Blantyre, where she expressed dissatisfaction with what the organizations are doing using the funds that are assisting in transforming the lives of the youth. Among others, using the 15 million kwacha fund from YIF, the Micromake is producing drones that assist in transporting medical supplies to hard-to-reach areas, production of shoes, and plastic recycled bricks. Elijah Kawinga is the research developer at Micromake.
NICOM has provided us with 15 million. This 15 million is allocated towards developing new drones with a large wingspan that allows us to carry medicine to the hard-to-reach areas of Malawi.
Director of Programs at the National Youth Council of Malawi, which is implementing the initiative, Willow Tilumbe, said the council is ready to disperse the second tranche of funding, considering that the initiative is bearing fruits.
We are very happy because what the young people are doing, the minister has seen it for herself, and she's been able to appreciate the challenges. She's been able to appreciate the ideas, the innovations, the enterprises that young people have, and the need for scaling up this.
The minister then made an assurance that the government will proceed with the program now that it is meeting its intended purpose.
I am actually very impressed with the progress that is made in Blantyre. I am very happy to note that out of the 3 youth groups that we have visited today, 2 of them already received funding, at least the first tranche. Only 1 of them has not yet received funding, and they cited delayed submission of documents, but they are hoping to get their funding in the shortest time possible.
Government set aside 2 billion kwacha for the Youth Innovation Fund to catalyze youth-driven innovation, entrepreneurship and job creation in alignment with the Malawi 2063. Charles Pensolo, MBC News, Blantyre.
You're watching the lunch edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Malawi Local Government Association MAGA commends President Zachitika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. Government pledges to sustain the Youth Innovation Fund program due to its proven impact on the youth. And investors challenged to capitalize on the Malawi Tourism Master Plan. Moving on, the Ministry of Tourism has challenged the private sector to invest in the country's tourism master plan as the country strives to position itself as a preferred tourist destination in the region. The Ministry of Tourism Public Relations Officer Joseph Nkosi said this as the country reflects on the highs and lows of the sector in the just ended year. Details in this report.
The Malawi National Tourism Master Plan, which spans from 2022 to 2042, plans to increase the sector's contribution to the economy to 11%, which is approximately $923 million by 2029, and targets to increase annual earnings from tourists to around $50 million. Minister of Tourism Public Relations Officer Joseph Nkosi has since highlighted a number of incentives investors are expected to enjoy under the plan.
So the master plan has got 103 projects that it identified as with the potential to grow tourism in Malawi. So in terms of incentives, the incentives are there. Because as we speak this year, we have got those that are constructing, like Malawians that are constructing 20 rooms and above. They've got a chance, or they would benefit from duty waivers. If they are buying things outside, they will do them duty free. If they are buying some local stuff, there will be a removal of duty. So there are these incentives to help us develop the sector.
And Umo's Park and Resource Chief Executive Officer Steve Luanda has expressed optimism that Umo's Park will stretch its footprints to the lake shore as the facility plans to build a lakeshore resort.
And we have got a place by Malembo there in Mangoji, so obviously we will have to develop that into possibly 80 rooms, but the number of rooms will have to be decided. That's the first place. We have been showing our interest to develop and manage the Golden Sands Lake Malawi National Park.
The country's tourism sector attracts an average of 900,000 visitors annually and employs over 500,000 people locally. Trust Office, MBC News, Lirongwe.
The impressive continental performance of the Malawi Stock Exchange in the just ended year is being described as a reflection of high domestic investor demand. According to market analyst Kondwani Makwakwa, there is growing demand, mainly being driven by the need to protect value against some economic shocks such as inflation and lack of attractive alternative investments. Elin Chimoyo reports.
According to the latest analysis by Africa Markets on performance of exchange markets on the continent, Malawi has emerged as top performer in Africa for 2025. Malawi Stock Exchange MSCI leads at 245%, trailed by Ghana at 79%, Zambia 68%, Nigeria and Kenya at 51%. Unlike other exchanges such as the Johannesburg Stock Exchange of South Africa and Ghana, with as high as over 400 listings, the Malawi Bourse has only 16 counters, a development which reflects short supply against the big investing demand, as explained by Makwakwa.
Now, what it simply tells us is that people have got confidence on our market. So maybe first of all we need to appreciate what made this performance to reach those levels. So there could be many factors outside maybe two. So the first one, we can say that there has been a high demand on the Malawi Stock Exchange in terms of investor participation. You see that our market is also small, maybe compared to other markets, with only 16 companies and most companies are not that liquid. So yeah, this significant interest on our market made it possible to create demand and supply in balance. So there were a lot of demand for the stocks, which pushed prices.
What this means is that the local market is worthwhile an investment for shareholders at all levels with both major and minority stakes. Frank Harawa is Secretary General of the Minority Shareholders Association of Listed Companies, Misaliko.
Malawi Stock Exchange has been the best performing stock market in Africa for many years now. We saw it was a bull market. Shares had gone up so much. Most of the listed counters, the share price went up. As a result, I can say shareholders made a lot of money. And at the same time, during the year, there were good dividend payouts from most of the counters. And so it was all good mostly for the shareholders.
MSC authorities have also remained upbeat of a good year as shown by positive trade registered in the first week of 2026. Meanwhile, shareholders on the local market are all smiles as corporate and trading statements from the MSC are indicating lucrative profits in most listed companies, a development which points to good dividends. The positive performance in the just ended year is also likely to spill over to 2026, with trade continuing on the local market, with a few counters registering share price drops and the majority of counters recording share price gains. Elin Chimoyo, NBC News, Blantyre.
Community technical colleges have been challenged to embrace innovative solutions that can help contribute to Malawi's development aspirations. Director of Training Programs for Technical Entrepreneurial Vocational and Education and Training Authority, TVETA, Modesto Gomani, made the remarks at Mangochi Community Technical College during a design and realization training for instructors. Owen Mavula with a report.
About 27 instructors drawn from Mangochi Community Technical College and Andiamo Community Technical College in Balaka are undergoing a 5-day training course in design and realization in the Lakeshore district of Mangochi. The training, according to Director of Training Programs for Technical, Entrepreneurial, Vocational and Education and Training Authority, TVETA, Modesto Gomani, seeks to equip the instructors with knowledge on how best they can nurture students in community technical colleges to develop innovative solutions that can help address societal challenges.
As we are looking at the skills development at the moment, we are also recognizing the importance of designing and realization. And the designing is very important in our today world, just because for us to come up with a solution to the problems that we experience every day, we need people that can design technologies. We need people that can develop the technologies, and we need people that can see through their designs to realization. This is very important for the country as we also look into the Malawi 2063.
In his remarks, President of the instructors, Eric July, said the training will go a long way in shaping their tutorial skills and improve performance in community technical colleges.
So basically this particular training is going to empower each and every attendee who has joined the training. Actually, when we go back, we are going to be assisted. We are going to know how to deliver and how to actually fill the gaps that are existing.
Principal for Mangochi Community Technical College, Mbasa Mawembe, believes the training will address existing skills and innovation gaps and help colleges produce well-equipped graduates.
All through what we've been making, or our students have been making, maybe in most cases, we always make the thing that have been already been there. We are not being creative enough. So this is one way of inculcating creativity into our students who we are teaching. For instance, if you talk of exporting of commodities, they are always looking for products that bring solutions to humanity. So we want our students who graduate from our colleges to give solutions through design and realization.
The week-long training is being facilitated by Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences under the Skills for a Vibrant Economy project with funding from the World Bank. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
Stakeholders in the implementation of early child development ECD programs in the country have called for partnerships that mobilize resources towards the sector. Speaking to MBC, Executive Director for the CCAP Synod of Livingstonia's ECD department, Reverend Zachitika, said the sector requires more funding from both local and bilateral partners. More in this report by Grant Mohango.
Statistics indicate that out of 66,000 caregivers in Malawi, only 20,000 have undergone basic ECD training due to financial challenges. The CCAP Synod of Livingstonia ECD Department Executive Director, Reverend Zachitika, says a 2-week training would require not less than 600,000 kwacha to train a single caregiver, which is beyond reach to both government and other stakeholders. Reverend Chunga further calls for joint proposals to multilateral donors to source more funding towards the sector.
Nationally, we have about 66,000 caregivers, but those who have gone formal training, basic training of caregiving, is about 20,000 or so. So we have a lot to do, and the cost is always increasing. So the basic caregivers training of 2 weeks is leveraging around 600,000 kwacha cost. So in order for us as a nation to make good strides, there's need for government to make allocation of resources for training of caregivers. But also, we have also made a proposition to government that we need to write a joint proposal, Malawi government and CSOs, to World Bank, so that I think there is a big amount of resources provided for training of caregivers in Malawi, so that the indicator should improve.
Among others, the country has developed the ECD policy, which runs from 2025 to 2030 as a roadmap towards implementation of ECD programs in the country. Grant Mhango, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Mobile phone network service provider Airtel Malawi says investing in education remains key to achieving the Malawi 2063 development blueprint. Airtel Malawi Managing Director Ashish Dutt said this in Lilongwe during the launch of Nzeru Scholarship Fund. Nzeru Scholarship Fund is an initiative which supports students financially at the Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST. Dutt speaks to our reporter, Maim Tumodzi.
Airtel Nzeru Fund is a fund which focuses on giving support to the deserving students from Malawi who are capable, but because they do not have the resources and they do not have the financial backing, they drop out. As you know, we have 27,000 students who apply and almost 90% plus they drop out. We do not want that to happen. So as a responsible corporate citizen, we want to play our part in ensuring that we are aligned to the government's 2063 vision on digitization as well as education. So as a business, while we are working towards making the country digitized, we are also wanting to play our part to support students so they can realize their dreams and achieve what they want to do in their life, and should not be deprived just because they do not have resources. So the 25 children and 25 capable students will be supported through Airtel's Nzeru Fund, and we will take care of their education, full education, and we will support so that they are able to achieve what they dream of and they play their part in the growth of the nation.
On her part, Vice Chancellor for MUST, Professor Adres Malata, described the fund as timely, considering that many students are struggling financially to support their studies and stay at the university. She said the fund, which is supporting young minds access higher education, remain key to transforming Malawi's economy, which relies on the youth to sustain. She explains.
Significant with Airtel Malawi.
We have had conversations over the years. I think we started discussion maybe 10 years ago, but finally they have come up with a scholarship for students. I think they have other initiatives in the primary education, but they are also focusing on higher education. And significant because this year, those students who are selected to come to MUST for STEM programs, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics, they can actually access this program, this scholarship, and it is for 25 students. So it is quite significant. And their scholarship, they are covering everything from tuition to accommodation to food. They also make sure that the students are enabled to access internet, and they will be supported throughout their areas of study. There are times people give scholarships that are on a yearly basis, but this scholarship is once you get it, for the 4 years or 5 year program, you are assured of a scholarship. So very significant. We are very grateful to Airtel. For MUST, this is our first gift for the year, and we are looking into the year 2026 with a lot of enthusiasm, knowing that students are getting support they need. So as you know, for higher education in Malawi, for our public universities, many of the students that are selected are needy students. We do have maybe like 25% of students that can pay fees. They come from well-to-do families, but majority of the students that are selected do not have adequate fees, sometimes even no fees. Sometimes they'll have the fees, tuition fees, but no accommodation, no upkeep, they have no food. There's a loans system board, loans board in Malawi that was created by government, by an act of parliament that supports needy students. But as you can imagine, not every student can get that loan. The needs are huge. The numbers of our students studying in our universities are growing by each year. So there's still students who still need support. And these students are getting a scholarship. This is not a loan. So the also advantage is that they finish their program, they will not be paying back to Airtel. What we are saying is we are pleading with them to finish well, and support someone from their village or support someone who is needy once they get employed well or they have a business. In other words, they must give back. Giving back to Airtel means passing, but it also much more means that they must help another student who is needy. So whether we like it or not, there are many students and there's a loan system that's available, but it is not adequate. But also an advantage of a scholarship is that the student doesn't have to pay back. They actually are going to be free after they finish their studies. It has an advantage, particularly if they're still coming from needy families. As we've seen, even after graduation, these students are still desperate to pay back the loan. But when they have a privilege of a scholarship, then they are free. They can work and then support someone who is also needy.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, commends President Mutharika for withholding assent to a Constituency Development Fund CDF bill. Government pledges to sustain the Youth Innovation Fund due to its proven impact on the youth. Investors challenged to capitalize on the Malawi Tourism Master Plan. Well, keep up to date with our news coverage on all our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Arthur Chokoto. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.